Gaming.
Hello and welcome to the Second Tech Flange with Intoxicus Gaming. Today we're doing a Nintendo Switch Joy-Con buckles replacement tutorial guide kind of dealy. And yeah, so pretty much what happens with the Joy-Con buckles is the original ones that come with the Switch are made out of plastic. You'll get to see that further on in the video. And as you're going to see, there's a bit of redundancy because I'm still learning Premiere Pro and editing, so forgive the redundancy. But as you can see, when they wear out, they just pop off. It got to the point where they're just coming off on their own way too easily, and it's like, okay, I've been wanting to do this as a video anyways, I should flange this up, ordered me some buckles, and here we are. So you can order them on Amazon. We'll touch on that more later. But yeah, as you can see, when they wear out bad. So with the plastic buckles, the originals, what happens is where the plastic meets up against the kind of tab part on the rail of the Switch, it basically wears the plastic out until the corner basically disappears, so there's nothing really holding it in place. And I'm not sure why Nintendo did plastic buckles over metal, other than maybe saving costs, but I think they would have been better off going with metal buckles and eating the, like, you know, extra dime or whatever it would have cost them. So just use my pointing toothpick to point out the 4 tri-wing screws on each one. Pretty standard with Nintendo to have the tri-wing. Also getting a closer look at the original plastic, so you can see where the corner is broken off. There's like a slope instead of like a 90-degree angle where there should be a corner. Sorry about the camera focusing being finicky. I'm still learning to navigate that. So you can see it on the other one too. And here's one I've already replaced. I'm still getting to learn the like angles and positioning to show it in the camera and zoom in on all that. So if the auto zoom gets its poop in a group here, there we go. You can see the metal one, and you can see where it's like a solid 90-degree corner, like boxy thing, and doesn't have like a slope where the corner bashes up against the internal metal rail on the Switch side. So we're getting into the actual flanging it up. So it's the Y0 tri-wing bit and the whatchamajigger Phillips 00 bit. And yeah, definitely recommend iFixit, but I got this kit on Kijiji at a good price. It's a decent little kit, but I definitely prefer iFixit. You can donate to the GoFundMe to help me afford a iFixit kit. Hint, hint. Sorry about that. I gotta get better at shilling for myself when it comes to those things. So here's the kit I bought. There's lots of other kits. I got it on Amazon Canada. Originally, it's stapled together, but I took the staple out, and I realized I should have left it together until I did the video, because it's hard to keep the things in place within the package unless it's stapled just because of the design. So I had to tape it back together, and it's kind of a pain in the ass to get the tape apart. So it comes with enough buckles for 2 Joy-Cons, which is nice. I think all the kits kind of have the 4 buckles. I think it might be like a cost efficiency thing where it's just not worth their time to sell you only 2, is my guess. The 2 screwdrivers that come with it, though, garbage. I mean, I get they include them just so you have something, but they're garbage. They're only good for stripping screws. Like, I toss them aside. I keep a collection of them just because I don't want to be wasteful, but I never use them. You use a proper screwdriver. So when it gets to actually putting them in, when you get it prepped, make sure they're not identical like I'm showing here. The zooms just... yeah, I gotta get better at getting the zoom to zoom. So you want to make sure they're opposites, because it's one for each side and they're opposing directions because of left and right and all that. So put your ones you want to use off to the side, and put the ones you're not using in a safe place where you won't lose them, because they are pretty damn small. And just for the unscrewing and the boring parts, I just accelerated it just because... yeah, I still want to show it, but you know, it just makes sense just to me just to have it zip through faster. So you will need a spudger to crack it open. More so on the first time, it's more stiff and harder to open up. After the first time, it's easier. So just pointing out, like, the ribbon cables, be careful about those, and some other things that actually don't really matter. So never mind me pointing at things other than the ribbon cables. Be careful with those. You can do this with the ribbon cables still attached, but be very careful. So I pointed at the little metal tab with the black screwdriver. That's where the buckle sits. You only have to remove that one little black screw there, and then you have to bend the tab out of the way, which can be a little bit tricky. And I'm just fumbly and bad coordination because of the medical issues. But as you can tell, I'm always keeping them close together so they don't get too far apart, so they're not like being pulled on. So this metal tab, you gotta bend this out. You want to pull it on the side, like on the outside of the Joy-Con, that's the side, not the inside. And just be very as gentle and careful as possible. It can be stiff and stubborn because of that little tab that slots into a little metal slot there. But once you get that lifted up, you can actually get at the buckle and the spring, and be careful with that little metal tab. You don't want to bend it back and forth too much because that can break it. And I think you can get away without having it, but you definitely want it. Also be careful with the spring. That's a spring I mutilated, and I replaced it with a backup spring I had because I bought a screw kit. So we're skipping over to where I did the second one, where I figured out I call it the toothpick technique. So you can jam a toothpick in there to compress the spring to get it out easier. If you don't do this, it's a big pain in the butt to try and get it out there because you got the spring pushing it into its slot, which there's actually like a slot for it to fit in. So you have to compress the spring or, figure something out. So it works best to compress the spring with something from behind, but then when you take it out, be careful about the spring flying around. So here's the plastic bit. You can see where the corner's been damaged, and trying to get a comparison shot, but we got the focus not helping. But yeah, you can see aside from the focus being crappy, see where the corner got chunked off by the tab on the inside of the switch. So putting it in can also be tricky because you have to compress the spring again, and you have to kind of like wiggle it into the spot. So yeah, bad coordination. I'm just going to be fumbly with this and take a couple tries. So yeah, it's just small and precise kind of thing in the first place, and you had bad coordination, and yeah, I get fumbly. But the thing to note here is be careful with that spring. That spring can go shooting off, and it can be a real pain in the ass to find it because I don't think it's very magnetic either necessarily. Yeah, I'm just bad coordination because of the medical issues. I wasn't like this before the medical stuff. Still not the best coordination, but not that bad. But anyways, you kind of wiggle it into the like slot area, compress the spring, and then like you see, I compress it, then kind of get my finger in there to push it in. Like it might even help to get a hand with that part. That's a tricky part. You can easily lose your spring and stuff. So be careful, be patient. So again, the auto zoom's not being very friendly, even though I'm trying the like thing behind it. There we go. So with that metal tab, it's just hard to see. There's like a slot. You need to get that one tab at the 90 degree. So you got to line that tab into the slot, and then you can push it in all the way. But don't just jam it in there. You have to line that tab up into the slot. And when you're doing it, you'll see it very clearly. It's just hard to show it on camera. And once you get that all flanged up back together, you dig up that little tiny black screw from earlier and put it back. So if you remove those two silver screws, because you're doing more work than this, they can fit in the spot where the black screw goes, so careful not to mix it up. If you're ever worried about the ribbon cables, you can always press the buttons just to see if the lights go on. If you're ever worried you might have damaged the ribbon cables. And we're just accelerating again for the putting together. And we always only show the one Joy-Con. I'm kind of crappy with the other one when it comes to getting the buckle out because coordination, and I hadn't really figured out the toothpick trick yet. I don't know. I just kind of figured out a technique, and then I was like, oh, toothpick trick's just even better. So we'll just stick with that and cut out the not as good things. So yeah, here you can see it's in and it's flanging proper. Also make sure you put the buckle on the right side or the correct side, because you can't put it on the incorrect side and then it won't work properly. So it should be easy to look and line that up. It only really flanges proper one way, I believe. And here you can see that it's all done. It's all solid. It only comes out when I press the button. That's why I'm bumping it like that. So you can see I'm, not pressing the button. Yeah. So anyways, we're trying to get you all look at the tab on the inside of the switch, partly to help people concerned about the metal Joy-Con buckle damaging the internals of the switch. Not likely. It's a pretty solid metal piece. You can see a little bit of friction that just, wore away the anodization from other Joy-Cons with metal buckles. I didn't get it slided in all the way. Slid in all the way, I should say. So here's the other one that after I finished it, just showing that that's all good and flanged up. And yep, that one's solid and all that too. Not going nowheres. Only goes anywheres when I press the button like it should. And yeah, it's actually mostly more or less a pretty simple, easy fix. A lot of people can definitely do this on their own. Although you'll see me put the broken plastic buckles away, keep the broken plastic ones. If you're still on warranty or even off warranty and you wind up needing to send your Nintendo Switch into Nintendo for any reason, you'll want to keep the old ones there, because if you send your Switch in with metal buckles, they're going to be asking some questions, and maybe if you're on warranty, they'll be like, no more warranty for you because you did something like that. So it's worth just I'm only trying to say it's worth keeping the plastic ones. Just if you do have to send your Switch in for any sort of repairs, you're going to want to swap the plastic ones back in. And also, if you're sending it in for repairs, you swap the plastic ones back in, and you'd be like, well, since I'm sending it in for this one thing, you guys want to give me some new Joy-Con buckles? So you can get Nintendo to possibly just give you some replacement plastic ones, swap them back to metal, and then at least have some like not broken plastic ones. And I'd totally recommend, just also quick aside, make sure to always put your stuff away properly. That's something I want to make sure. It's something I'll always show in these things, is like putting the stuff away, because that's an important part, is clean up and put away. And I totally sidetracked myself from the thought I was thinking about before I went on that aside. Yeah, I forget what I was going on about. But yeah, with the Joy-Con buckles, it just, it boggles me that they went metal instead of plastic. Even for cost concerns, I question if it really would have cost them that much more to go metal. Maybe it was that much of a cost issue, but just showing the card again, just in case you guys want to go after the specific one I found. There'll be a link in the description to that as well. And just kind of showing it off with everything all cleaned up and all that. And again, what was I going on about? I'm terrible at this, where I like go off on a sidetrack and I forget what I was going on about originally. Don't remember really. Wheel move. Oh yes. Yeah. Aside from cost concerns, I'm not sure why they went with plastic. They really should have gone with metal. Ooh, looks like we got a bit of an oopsies here. Can I fix this on the fly? Because I don't want to redo this. Yay! Okay, cool. I fixed it. I'm supposed to do outro stuff, but I kind of don't want to re-record this. Subscribe and follow and like and all that good stuff. And yeah, keep an eye out for more tech flanges. Got some more stuff flanged and in the works. Outro music. Have a good one. Bye-bye. Remember to bring a towel.